Greetings and welcome to another epic movie recap. Today, we'll be diving into the action-packed world of a movie titled Operation Fortune. This movie is an adrenaline-fueled action thriller that follows a team of skilled operatives as they race against time to stop a group of billionaires from destroying the entire banking system. Contractor Nathan Jasmine received an unusual emergency call on a Sunday morning, prompting him to visit a crucial British government building. Upon his arrival, he met with Knighton, the government agent in charge of emergency operations. Knighton briefed Nathan about a recent event where a gang broke into a facility located in Odessa, Ukraine, killing 20 people and stealing a top-secret device. The device, codenamed The Handle, remains a mystery, and Nathan is tasked with recovering it. Additionally, he must investigate the identity of the thief, the seller, and the buyer since rumors of its sale for $10 billion are already circulating in the criminal world. Nathan sets out to assemble a team, first being Super Agent Orson Fortune as the leader of the squad. Knighton is not a fan of Orson due to his expensive tastes of luxury jets and so on, but Nathan is unwavering in his decision. He makes his way to Morocco and tells Orson his government-funded holiday is over. He begrudgingly accepts the mission. However, the group still needs a skilled hacker after their usual candidate was poached by Nathan's competitor Mike. Therefore, Nathan reaches out to a new addition, Sarah Fidel. The team is further strengthened by the inclusion of sharpshooter JJ, and they embark on their mission to recover the handle. They are currently in Madrid, Spain, and are attempting to intercept a package from a delivery man named Donald. While Sarah is the eyes in the sky, both Orson and JJ, along with two support members Jane and Marcia, are watching Donald. It is quickly made apparent that there is more than just their team at the airport. As the two women get tasered and left unconscious, Sarah's computer is being hacked and cannot see what is happening live. After fixing the issue, she alerts Orson to two men approaching him. He takes them both out with ease and immediately rushes outside alongside JJ. Two men are ushering Donald to their car, and Orson quickly knocks both of them out as JJ handles the man in the car. Nathan brings his van around and Donald is forced inside. Unfortunately, they are unaware that Donald has a heart condition and begins having a heart attack while they are being pursued by multiple vehicles. Nathan then tries to decode the hard drive while Donald tells them they have his wife. The van comes to a halt as they are blocked off and JJ locks the doors. Donald says they don't know his face and gives Orson the location of the meeting. The hard drive finishes downloading as the door is ripped open. Mike looks at a dead Donald and then greets Nathan and Orson. He asks for the hard drive, which is met without resistance.
Second mouse always gets the cheese.
The team makes their way to Madrid and Nathan pretends to be Donald. Two men then approach him and ask if the suitcase is theirs and he nods. His glasses then scan the face of the person picking up the briefcase and is found to be a man named Ben Harris. He is the lawyer and right-hand man of a billionaire weapons dealer named Greg Simmons. A man that is impossible to catch, though they find him attending a fundraiser for orphans of war. Weirdly enough, he is the type to start and fund wars. They take their jet to LA. Their plan is to blackmail a man by the name of Danny Francesco. He is one of the best actors in the world, not better than Jason Statham of course. He is loved and obsessed by Greg Simmons, so they plan to use him as bait. They go to his private jet and barge their way in. Orson then tells Danny that he is his new business manager and they're invited to a fundraiser. After showing Danny some photos, he agrees to help. At the party, Orson and his team of spies gradually become closer to Greg Simmons. Despite Sarah posing as Danny's partner and Orson posing as the actor's business manager, Greg is more focused on his favorite guest, Danny Francesco. However, as the night goes on, it becomes apparent that Greg Simmons is the middleman in the handle deal, having arranged both the buyers and the sellers, who are revealed to be the Ukrainian mafia. Orson and his team uncover this information by hacking into Greg's system. It is revealed that the Ukrainian mafia were the same group who had stolen the handle from the facility. Before leaving, Greg invites Danny to spend the weekend at his house in Anatolia, after he learned that his favorite actor's next movie is to play a billionaire just like him. Orson broke into the Ukrainian mafia's house on the following night, connecting knockout gas to the ventilation system which puts anyone who breathes it in to sleep. He then stole jewels and other valuable items to make it appear like a typical burglary, but his true aim was to acquire the data on their secret laptop. The group, who had previously been to Madrid and Cannes, headed to Turkey because phone calls they intercepted suggested that the transaction would take place there. Additionally, this aligned with Greg Simmons' invitation to Danny and Sarah to spend the weekend at his villa in Anatolia, Turkey. At this weekend getaway, Greg and Danny become friends as the actor is mesmerized by the crooked billionaire's obsession with him even to restore his old cars he owned. Amidst all this, Sarah must keep up the dangerous job of hacking into the security system and looking for any incriminating information about what the secret device is and who wants to buy it. But what she initially finds is oddly unsuspicious, as the deal that is about to take place seems to be that of usual AK-47 guns. While the gun trade itself is alarming, the involvement of such important players taking high risks does not fit in with simple AK-47s. Elsewhere, Orson manages to follow the Ukrainians and ends up finding Ben Harris. He begins following him and makes JJ jam communications from his phone. JJ intercepts a message saying that he remembers Orson from the fundraiser, and the bodyguard confronts him. This results in a punch to his face with Ben Harris taking off. Orson goes to chase him and ends up in a tower. Ben Harris tries to tackle Orson but falls over the edge and splat. JJ and Orson put his remains in the boot of the car. That night, Sarah finds out that the AK-47s were a ruse and the handle was indeed what was about to be sold. Orson's team is informed about what the handle actually is, as Knighton explains the matter. The handle was a new first-of-its-kind programmable AI device that can hack into any system, including governments. While most governments, including the British administration, had believed that the device was in development, it is now actually in fully usable condition, hence the reason the Ukrainian mafia stole it. Between the newspaper and data from his phone, Ben Harris was supposed to be picked up from a hotel by the representative of the buyer, and as a middleman working for Greg Simmons, who is brokering the deal, Ben will receive a 15-digit password unlocking the handle once the Ukrainians receive the money. As Ben Harris is dead and no one knows his face, Orson pretends to be him and is picked up from the hotel lobby. After throwing out his phone and scanning him, they begin their drive to the handover location. JJ follows pursuit along the way. Sarah is still at Greg Simmons' house and is called by Nathan to change Orson's voice into Ben Harris. She hacks back into Greg's system and is waiting for Greg to call Orson to disguise his voice. JJ sees the car in front of him go off-road and drives on top of a hill where he gets locked and loaded. Sarah plays around with the voice modulator and tells Danny to get in the garage and warm the car up for when they are found out. Orson steps out of the car awaiting the arrival of Ukrainians. He puts a device in his ear to communicate with his team. Simultaneously, JJ gets into sniper position. Sarah is awaiting to hack the phone call, while Greg is waiting on Ben Harris to call him. The Ukrainians finally arrive as JJ keeps an eye out from his sniper. Orson greets them, and they open the boot, revealing the handle. He checks it and asks for his phone. Greg Simmons then answers Orson's phone call, and Sarah immediately uses the voice modulator. Greg's assistant and security then detect an anomaly in the security system and know that they are being hacked. Greg sends the code over, and as the $10 billion has been sent and confirmed, Orson puts the last digit in the code, opening the handle. Once Orson secures the handle, Sarah wipes out the recently transferred $10 billion from the Ukrainians' bank account, which they had just received from the buyer. However, before Orson can safely get away from the place, two helicopters make their way on the scene, and it quickly turns ugly. After Orson takes out two men, the helicopter starts firing a barrage of bullets. He hijacks a wagon, and the helicopter machine gun fires but misses him. All the men start turning on each other, and Orson's wagon is hit. JJ tells him this is Mike's doing, and he gets out of the car and grabs a radio off one of the men. As Mike taunts him and laughs at him, his men on the ground are butchering anything that moves. Mike lands the chopper, and his men kill off the resistance and capture a few of them. They take the handle off Orson, and JJ notices something is wrong. Mike executes unarmed men and gives the command to kill Orson, which JJ overhears on his radio. It seems Mike has gone rogue, and with pinpoint accuracy he kills the three men behind Orson.
Tidy.
In the meantime, Sarah and Danny jump into a car and make their way to the gate. Danny is peeing himself until the guard simply asks for a selfie. Simultaneously, the security team run to Greg and tell him they've been hacked and that Ben Harris isn't the person he spoke to on the phone.
You stop Danny Francesco, and whoever the that is, do it now.
The security team chased Danny and Sarah in their vehicles, while JJ and Orson spotted an unmanned helicopter and opted to pursue Mike with it. Fortunately, Greg had replicated the bulletproof car from the movie, allowing Danny and Sarah to dodge gunfire and even eliminate a carload of attackers. Despite their initial success, they eventually found themselves in a dire situation. However, as they passed through a tunnel, JJ and Orson swooped in with the helicopter and eliminated the remaining assailants. Everyone then jumps into the helicopter, and Orson has an amazing idea. Upon discovering that Mike was working for the German buyers all along, Orson, Sarah, JJ, and Danny decided to seek assistance from Greg at his vacation house. Orson was confident that Greg would lend them a hand. At this point, Greg had realized that he had been manipulated by the spies with the aid of his beloved actor Danny Francesco, but he appeared rather amused by the situation. After Sarah informed him about the pictures of AK-47s she has and threatened to blackmail him, Greg remained unfazed and expressed his desire to collect his commission from the deal. However, he would only receive his fee if the AI device was not delivered to the buyers by Mike, so Greg agreed to join forces with Orson and his team. Nathan calls Knighton and shares the news that 2 German billionaires have purchased $40 billion worth of gold, and the handle will drastically impact the markets and raise the value of their gold to hundreds of billions. With the assistance of Orson, Greg, and their team, they locate the precise spot where the exchange is set to occur. Greg assumes that Mike has already arrived and coordinates his actions accordingly. He brings Danny along for the fun of it. Upon joining Mike, his team, Trent, and Arnold, Greg showcases his authority by detonating remote missiles that take out satellites in the distance. Additionally, he intimidates everyone in the room by blackmailing them with sensitive information about their loved ones and families, and stating a missile will hit them if he doesn't get the $1 billion he was promised. He walks out and says he wants the money in 5 minutes or else. In the meantime, Orson is making his way towards the tower, assassinating anyone that gets in his way. JJ helps with his sniper skills, and Orson makes it to the tower. As Danny and Greg leave, this is enough to create a division between Mike and the Germans, and the private contractor spy now decides to keep the handle for himself. When his expert hacker informs Mike that they have all the contacts and information for Trent and Arnold, Mike decides to make use of these contacts to sell the device to somebody else since the tech billionaires were now refusing to pay his commission. He and the other guards have a shootout with everyone but Mike dying. Following this, Orson enters the room and engages in a fierce fight with Mike. Orson gains the upper hand and uses the metal case of the handle to subdue Mike, effectively obtaining the AI's superweapon device. The team flies to Doha, where Nathan is handed the device. Orson, Sarah, and JJ intend to drop off the handle and walk off. Nathan tells Orson to return the jewels and valuables that he had stolen from the Ukrainian's house, to which Orson replies that he has already sold them off and invested the money in a Hollywood film. In the mid-credits scene, Danny Francesco is playing the lead role of a billionaire inspired by the life of Greg Simmons. He looks, speaks, and does exactly as Greg does. Greg Simmons is now helping Danny with this new Hollywood movie that everyone is invested in. Thank you all for staying this long. Make sure to leave me a like, and only do so if you genuinely enjoyed it. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. Thank you.